and they all got mad at me because I laughed when Gandalf died.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I often get asked, how did I get into cosplay? And luckily, today we have the answer to that question sitting right here in the studio. Everybody, I'd like to introduce you to my good friend Momo.
Hi.
Hello. Momo Pears on the internet, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
So you are the reason that I started cosplaying in the first place, which is so exciting. But you started cosplaying, have been in like the nerdy video game realm, streamed. Also, one of the first times I ever streamed as well was with you.
Was it really?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was.
And now you work at a very large video game company doing community management and other fun things.
Yeah.
Right? Did
Yeah.
I get it all?
Yeah.
Anything I missed?
I think that's it.
Yay. Well, I'm excited
Me too.
to chat.
We chat a lot.
We do. And now it's being recorded, which is exciting.
Great.
On the spot. Lots of lights, lots of cameras.
Lots of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we sort of dive into me, let's talk about you.
Or we can talk about you.
Yeah. Let's talk about both of us.
Okay. Yeah.
So when did you start cosplaying? Do you remember?
I do remember I started cosplaying in 2000. I was going to say 2001, but that's not right. It's 2011.
Oh. A little bit of a difference there.
Who knows what time is anymore? And it was MetroCon in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And I cosplayed as Tifa.
Wow.
It's my first ever cosplay.
First ever cosplay.
Yeah.
When did we meet? Do you remember?
I don't remember the exact year, but it was around that time. I don't know if you remember the first time we ever met.
You know, you're going to say it and I'm going to be like, yes, exactly. But I don't right now off the top of my head.
You had pink hair at the time.
Whoa.
Pink? It was before we actually, pink? It was like a very light pink, like a pale
pink. Yeah, it's coming back. Okay.
And it was before we actually like met. But your friend brought you to the movies with me and my ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
And I don't remember what we saw.
I actually know. I know exactly what you're talking. I knew I would know exactly what you were talking about as soon as you said it. Yes.
And I just gotten done playing Final Fantasy 13. And I went up to you and I was so scared to talk to you because I was like, she's so pretty.
Oh.
And I was like, you look just like lightning.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like,
exactly. It's like a picture in my mind.
And that was our first interaction. And I don't think we hung out again for another year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As per usual. But we met in college.
Yes.
At USF in Tampa.
Yeah.
And we started going to cons together, and it was before I started cosplaying. We were just going to hang out. For a little bit of your backstory, a little bit of Momo lore, you started cosplaying in 2011, and
I was 21 at the time.
You were 21?
I was 21.
Were you in college then?
I was in college. Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to cons before that?
No, I did not. I always wanted to. But my family was always like, those are for weird people.
Yeah, my family said the same thing.
Those are for weird people, only weird people. But I always thought it was kind of cool. And then when I moved to Florida and I had friends that went, and I was like, I want to go too. And pretty sure my family did think it was weird at the time, but then they got used to it.
Right.
So, and they're like, well, maybe it's not as weird anymore. Like back in the day it was weird, but now it's not as weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. I had fun.
Yeah.
Meeting other nerds. And you feel kind of cool because when you cosplay, people will want to take pictures with you. And you're like, oh, I feel so cool. Like people want to take pictures with me. Like I feel cute. And back in those days, you couldn't really get like good wigs.
Right.
So I grew my hair out and dyed it black to be Tifa.
Hell yeah. That's commitment, baby.
So my hair was so long. It was like down to here. And I didn't know how to sew.
Yeah.
And so I made like a makeshift Tifa outfit.
Yeah. And that was in the time when we had to like go to the mall.
Yeah.
And find things. Do you remember that?
Yes. I remember us looking for, was it Android?
Yeah,
The
I actually
Android
just
shirt?
told I've been telling this story forever, but I just told the story like I think on the last episode that we filmed, where me and you, I remember we went to the mall in Tampa.
Yeah, and we looked for hours.
Every single store we could possibly go in
to try and find a striped shirt.
Yeah, for
Android.
the Android 18 white long sleeve little black stripes, and we found stuff that was similar, and it was like not right enough, so we just kept looking.
And Amazon wasn't a thing then either.
Right.
So I'm just screwed.
Yeah, I mean, we went to like Ross, we went to like TJ Maxx, we went to Target, Walmart, the mall, everywhere, and we finally did find one,
like a random one, but we had to cut it.
Yeah, it was like a cardigan in cotton on, I want to say. And we cut the sleeves off and sewed it to a black shirt.
Remember. I remember the exact moment we found it too.
Yeah,
and we're just like, finally. We were like, thank God. I'm like, is this good enough, Danielle, please? Because there were some that were close. And I was like, come on, can this be good enough? And you're like, no, it's not good enough. And I'm like, please, just let it be good enough.
Right. The craziest part is too that I was like so gung-ho about it being perfect. And I still wore my actual hair and not a wig. Because
it sucked.
Right.
They were bad.
It's funny that I wanted it to look so perfect and still wore my like long blonde hair that was not correct. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I know you love Lord of the Rings.
I do. Love Lord of the Rings.
What did you like grow up with, like fandom wise, that like made you into the nerd you are today?
Well, the first thing I watched was Star Wars because my dad made me watch Star Wars.
Right.
Also, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, really?
My dad let me watch it when I was 6. I don't know if you've ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I have.
Not appropriate for a 6-year-old.
No.
And I went around singing as a sweet transvestite.
No!
As a 6-year-old. I had no idea what it meant at all.
What did your dad do?
My mom yelled at my dad. My dad thought it was hilarious. Which is why at my wedding we did the Time Warp song together. That was like me and my dad's song. It was like our thing. We're like, okay, we're gonna do this at my wedding.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Because it's been a joke for many years that me and my dad were gonna dance to it at my wedding. So Star Wars and then Lord of the Rings, because that came out when I was 11. And my dad was a huge Lord of the Rings fan before the movies. Like he read the books. He wanted to name me Eowyn. And my mom wouldn't let him. Of course.
Mom is ruining so much fun.
Everything. I could have been so cool. So we always went to the midnight showings together ever since the first ones came out. And they always came out on his birthday weekend. Like every single one, every single like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie. And even the new animation one came out on his birthday. So I took him to that one because it was his 70th birthday. So we went.
Does Lord of the Rings have a contractual obligation to come out on his birthday?
No, I guess so.
Happening?
It always comes out in December, like right before Christmas.
And
So we'd always go. And I remember, because the first one I also brought some of my friends to. And they all got mad at me because I laughed when Gandalf died. And like I was looking through my old yearbook recently. My friend was like, remember when you laughed when Gandalf died? And I was like, right, that did happen. I did laugh.
That is very on brand for you, I feel.
So yeah, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. I think that was kind of it at the start. I also played a lot of video games. I played a lot of StarCraft, a lot of The Sims. And I feel like a lot of people are like, I have an older brother. And it's weird because my brother liked video games, but like I was the gamer. Like my brother, I was normally the one being like, can you play video games with me? Sort of thing. But the first video game I played was 3 years old. And it was on that giant floppy disks, those ones that were like this big.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't read yet. And it was Wheel of Fortune.
Oh my God, amazing.
And I actually learned how to type before I learned how to read and write, because I wanted to eventually I wound up having like one of those typing games, and I wanted to learn how to play the typing game. So I learned how to type so I could do the typing game, but I didn't know how to read or write yet.
Wow.
And I was about
We should gamify everything.
5 years old.
That's what I'm hearing.
At the time.
That's so crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Super crazy. And I became a really good typer because of it. So lots of video games, lots of StarCraft, and then eventually I got a PlayStation. Because my mom was always like anti-console games. We had our PC, but she was like, "Oh, you guys need to go outside and play.
Touch grass.
Go
Momo.
touch grass.
Right.
Go outside." I convinced her to get a PlayStation because of DDR, because it was an active game, and so it'd make me be active.
Right.
Of course, I got other games too.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
gateway drug.
Gateway drug.
Yeah.
And, then I got a GameCube.
A staple.
A staple.
I love the GameCube.
Me too.
What were your favorite games?
I played a lot of SSX Tricky.
I
was
That's a snowboarding game.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out the name of it
SSX
a couple of
Tricky.
days ago, and I couldn't remember.
I only had like 3 games on it. And it was SSX Tricky, Need for Speed.
Hell yeah.
And Super Monkey Ball.
Nice.
Love Super Monkey Ball. And then for PlayStation, I also had Need for Speed on PlayStation. And I had DDR. And then I had Chrono Cross, which is my favorite game. Final Fantasy X. I think that was about it. I didn't have a whole lot of games because my parents were very much like, go outside. But I played a lot of PC games because my brother would, my brother's very smart. So he would download the games illegally as like a 12-year-old.
Jeez. A criminal.
Back in like the 90s, the late 90s.
That's actually wild.
Like I remember
actually
having
difficult to
Mario
do.
on my PC. Like Super Mario Brothers.
Wow.
And Yoshi's World.
A dream team.
On my PC. I never had a Super Nintendo.
Right.
I had them on my PC because my brother figured out how to download them.
I mean, that's fucking awesome.
And Frogger, too. Great time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you rent games from Blockbuster?
No.
No?
Just VHSs.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So you grew up as a big gamer. You played WoW.
I did play WoW.
I remember.
A lot of WoW. That wasn't until college. But it was during Lich King. And end of Burning Crusade.
Right.
Too much WoW.
So you've always been in the nerd world.
Always.
And then once you got to college, which you went to Florida for college, which is not where you're from.
No, I'm from Connecticut.
Why did you want to go to Florida?
I hated the cold.
Fair.
And it's where I got into.
Oh,
I didn't really get into a whole lot of colleges, actually.
Really?
I did really bad in high school.
Was it the video game?
Really? No, I just had really bad test anxiety. And I'm really bad at math. I actually just got diagnosed recently with, it's the math form of dyslexia.
No way.
Yeah. So I had a tutor in math. I went to a second math class. This is for Algebra 2. And I still failed. I tried to not fail math, and I still failed.
How does that work? Dyslexia for math.
I just mess up my numbers.
They
all the time. Yeah.
Misordered.
Especially like 3, 5s, and 2s. I realized recently. Like if they're all in a row, I like can't tell which was a 3, 5, or 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. And yeah.
Do you feel very validated now, knowing that?
I mean, I kind of always do.
Oh, okay.
It was just when I'm like, I think I have ADHD, and he's like, I think it's called like dyscalculia, which is kind of a funny word. And I'm like vampires. I don't know. And so he's like, I think you have dyscalculia too, because I was like, I failed a lot of math class, and he's like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, fate brought us together.
It did.
Because I also went to USF for school.
Yeah, we did.
What were you studying?
Social science.
Social science.
I did better in college than I did in high school because I didn't have math classes. I purposely picked a major that didn't have math.
Right. So then we met in college.
It's great.
I was studying mass communications, and we met at the movies.
We did meet at the movies.
Yeah.
And I was 21. You weren't 21 yet.
I wasn't 21
You weren't 21 yet when we met. Because there was a few times where I may have gotten you alcohol.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Got you alcohol before you're 21.
I do have some crazy pre-21 college stories that I will keep to myself for the moment. Pretty embarrassing. I have told them on Twitch before.
Yeah. I have also crazy before 21 stories.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's like...
I think everyone does in college.
Yeah, the quintessential
like college experience.
Yeah. But I remember, when did we start hanging out?
It was, I decided I wanted to put a girl League of Legends group together.
Right.
And I needed a bot lane.
Right.
And one of our friends, mutual friends, was like, I have a friend that's a female that plays League of Legends.
One of them girl gamers.
One of them girl gamers. He's like, I think you guys would get along great. You should have her as your bot lane.
Spoiler, we
did. We were very bad.
We were very bad League of Legends team. We streamed our stuff on Twitch. We would all
stream. Yeah.
Come together in a house. We would order food, do our makeup, make our posts and whatever.
We made cute photos.
Yeah. We did little photo shoots, and we would stream on our Twitch channel called Femtokill. A play on the word pentakill if you haven't played League of Legends, which is when you kill all 5 members of the other team. Which I have yet to receive after playing League of Legends for a million years.
I've never got a pentakill.
Me neither. It's because I always played support. But
you were playing AD carry with us.
I was going to say. So let's talk more about Femtokill.
Femtokill. The good days of Femtokill.
Femtokill.
In my old apartment.
Right. So we did that for a while.
We did that for a while.
Yeah. We were bot lane.
We were bot lane together.
Yeah.
Kiki and Nads is what everyone called us.
Stop, I forgot about that.
Because your original name was Danielle backwards.
Yeah,
so
it's still that on League.
Yeah, it's still, it was Elanad.
Yeah.
So we just called you Nads.
Right. Correct. I forgot about that completely. That is my name for almost every gaming screen name that I could get it on if it's available, is Danielle backwards, which it's hard to pronounce. I don't know why I did that. No one knows what it is. They're like, what word is this?
It's Danielle backwards.
Yeah.
Just say it's Nads.
It's Nads. That's me. 2 thumbs way up. And your gamer tag was
Kiki.
From
Kiki's delivery service.
Right. Right. Yes. And we are the only remaining friendships from that team, I want to say. Not for any particular reason, just because we stayed in touch.
I actually did. Veronica was in town recently.
Oh, yeah?
And we did hang out. And she's doing really well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's we're still friends, but it's not anything bad.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
I think everyone just sort of went their separate ways.
Yeah.
But except us.
Bot
lane sticks together. Am I right?
Bot lane sticks together. Yeah. I forced you to move to LA.
Yeah.
It was definitely all me.
Right. It
100%. That forced you to move to LA.
Just you, nothing else.
Nothing else.
Right. So we would stream League of Legends. And we bonded over WoW and many other things.
Lots of WoW.
And then did you take me to the first con that I ever went to?
I think the one in, was it the Miami convention?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I remember. I'm going to say what I remember, then you tell me what you remember. So what I remember is we were hanging out in some capacity, and you were like, there's a convention called SuperCon.
Yeah, SuperCon.
In Miami. And this was 2013?
I think it was 2013, yeah.
And you were like, we should go. It would be really fun. And I was like, I mean, it's really far because Tampa, people that
it's not
don't
close.
know Florida don't know how
It's
far
like a 5-hour
things are.
drive.
It's like a 5-hour
Yeah.
drive. And this was like late at night.
Yes.
It was like
late.
Like 10? 9?
I think it was a little earlier than that. I think the way back was later.
Oh, okay.
It was the way back that was later. But the way there, it was still pretty late.
Okay. It was pretty late. And you were like, we should go. Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I was like,
on brand for me.
I feel like, because I'm always like I don't know, I don't want to do anything bad kind of.
But I just made the cosplays.
Was that when I cosplayed for the first time?
Yeah, that was when you cosplayed for the first time.
Okay, wait. So let's back up then, because I went to cons before.
Yes,
where
that is
I didn't cosplay.
Where you didn't cosplay.
Yeah. And I can't remember.
I think it was MegaCon.
If I went with you. Did we go together?
I remember it was like we went together, but like separately.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I remember us meeting there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. There was some around, because there's so many cons in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
There were some in the area. We were in Tampa, and there's some in Tampa. There's some in Orlando, which are pretty close. So I went to a couple of those, I remember. And I remember everyone cosplaying, and I remember it looking really fun.
Yeah.
But me being like,
you didn't want to. And I didn't understand why you didn't
terrified.
want to. I was like, Danielle, you need to cosplay. You need to.
Right. I was so scared of doing it. I was like just nervous. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. That's a lot. I'm like scared of that. That's an unknown territory that I'm like nervous about. But me, one day,
yes,
were like, if I make you a costume, will you just put it on? Like, you don't have to. So basically, there was like a push and pull of me being like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't. And you were like, just do it. Like, there's no, just.
I was like, you're thinking about it too much.
Right.
I think is what it was. You were thinking about it too much.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of like, I remember my parents were like, it's fine to go to the cons, but like, it's only weird if you do like the weird dress up thing. And so for me, that was like a weird line of, but I didn't judge anybody who did it. I thought it looked really fun, and I wanted to. Like, I was looking around at people doing it and being like, wow, this looks really fun. But I don't know. It was like the like fight or flight, like freeze response where you kind of like feel like kind of locked up and you're like, that's scary. It was kind of like
it's
that.
more like you don't want to be judged too, right? And I get that too, because I kind of felt the same way, especially from like family, and you're kind of, it's like, especially in college, it's like your first time like kind of getting out on your own, like figuring out your own things away from your like your parents' like ideals, I guess. So I get it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to disappoint them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. But it did look very fun. And I had done a lot of photography classes before that. And I thought that it would be fun to like do photos of people and also like get cool photos done of me.
Yeah, you did my original cosplay photos.
Did I?
Yeah. Like the first time I ever really got nice photos of my cosplay, that was you.
Wow.
I know.
I remember a very specific photo of you when you did Lara Croft.
Yes.
And I can't remember who took it. I think it was Eddie, maybe.
I think so. I don't remember.
But I remember that being like, me being like, whoa, that's so cool. Like,
it was pretty cool.
You had really cool, like pistol. You were like posing. Like,
wait, are you
shooting.
thinking of? Because I did my Zoe from Left 4 Dead with him.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, those ones are really cool.
Yeah,
I don't think I got any good professional photos with Lara Croft though.
It was like a haul shot.
Okay,
but it was like a good haul shot.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so that was kind of where my head was at. I kept being like, wow, that would be really fun, but I could never.
Yeah.
Not me.
Oh, wait, no.
It looks really fun.
Zoe was with Brian.
Yeah.
Too many people to remember.
I know. I feel geriatric trying to like my.
right.
I feel the steam coming out of my brain, being like, "What was this? This was like 10,
I think
10,
I remember
like 12 years ago."
I think I know what picture you're talking about. Now that I think about it. Yeah.
Okay. But either way, do you remember being like, I'm gonna make you a costume.
Yes,
please wear it.
I do remember that because I also bought you the wig.
Right.
And because it was Launch from Dragon Ball Z.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, you can do the blonde one and I will do the blue-haired one, even though our height differences are pretty comical.
Yes.
So I was like, it's fine.
Right.
We're gonna do great, and I just have to make the same costume twice, and then force you to wear it with me.
Right.
Yeah.
For those of you listening at home who don't know who Launch is from Dragon Ball, she is a character that has blue hair and is really sweet and really nice. Tien's girlfriend, I believe, or at least wants to be, and would sneeze, and when she sneezes she changes personalities, and when she sneezes her hair turns blonde and she becomes like scary and aggressive and like suddenly has an assault rifle.
Yeah. And do you know what's funny about this is I actually didn't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
I've never seen it before that. I literally chose it because I knew you liked Dragon Ball Z. Wow. And I was like, well, if I do Dragon Ball Z something, I'm just going to research some characters and figure it out what to do.
You like used the master ball on me.
I did.
There was like, I was like, oh wow, this is the fandom that I will not say no to.
I had never seen it before that. I started watching episodes so that I would learn characters and do you to cosplay.
That's true friendship, I think. That's so
I don't think
cute.
I ever told you that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
That's the first time that I heard
I was
that.
like, I'm going to be best friends with this girl and I'm going to make her cosplay with me.
I feel like that is the dynamic of friendship that it works so well between us, because I feel like I'm like the very timid, like shy person. So I need people who are like, we're going to be friends.
Yes.
Let's go.
But it's weird because I also feel like I'm shy around certain people.
Yeah.
But when I see someone else that I feel like is also kind of like me and shy, I want to not, I know how that feels.
Right.
So I want to like, I was like, now we're friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it worked.
It did work.
It did work. So we were making the costumes, or you were making the costumes, and I agreed. Which, again, Launch is supposed to be the exact same person, just with different colored hair and a different demeanor. And you are what height?
5'1" and 3/4.
Right.
Almost 5'2".
Almost 5'2". And I am 5'8".
Yes.
And a half-ish if we're doing the extras. So we are almost a foot different from each other. And we were going to walk around the con as the exact same character.
It's fine.
Which is so funny to me.
It's fine. No one will notice.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, there's just pictures of us next to each other.
I know. And we both had those heeled shoes on too. So like I was even taller.
I don't think I had flats for us.
Oh, you did?
Because I dyed them.
Oh, okay.
I dyed like Converse type cheap, but they were like the bootleg Converse that were
right,
like $5 from like Target.
Yes. No, I do remember. It's because I did Launch again later on.
Yes.
And I had the heeled boots.
Yeah.
So we decide to drive
5 hours to Miami.
5 hours to Miami to wear these
minute
costumes. And that wasn't our plan.
No.
Like, we were just making the costumes to wear eventually. And you were like, we should go to Miami.
Yeah. We had no plans. We didn't have a hotel room figured out. I think we found someone there that were like, you can stay in our hotel room.
Right.
Like right before we were leaving.
What happened.
Yes. And we were on an air mattress in that room.
But do you remember we drove and I sat for the 5 hours to Miami. And then we got there, and it was because we left so late on a whim. The person that said that we could stay in their room was asleep.
Oh yeah,
because we got there at like 2 in the morning, and we were sitting in the hallway.
I forgot about that.
I didn't.
Oh my God. Do you remember the drive there too? Do
You
remember driving through Alligator Alley?
Are you talking about the scary ghost lady? Yes, I do.
So there was this ghost lady.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving, and it's Florida.
Yeah.
So there's always kind of a little bit of like lightning going on.
Yeah. Rainy all the time.
Rainy. And there was just this little old lady walking on the side of the road.
Yeah.
No car.
Yeah.
And if Danielle wasn't there, I'm pretty sure I would think I was like seeing something.
Yeah, it was like a flash too.
Yeah.
Like we looked in the rearview mirror
And she was gone.
and she wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a white
She was
nightgown.
wearing,
Yeah.
Yes. She was
Yeah.
wearing like a white nightgown.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in ghosts, but at that moment, I was like, that's a ghost. Or she just dumped her husband's body in Alligator Alley.
It was crazy though, because I remember both of us were like, did you just see that?
Yeah.
Because it was there and then it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild.
It was wild.
And it was at like 1 a.m.
Yeah. I know.
I forgot that we got there and we didn't know the room. Completely forgot about that.
I didn't. Because it catapulted an issue the next day as well, which I'll get to. But we were sitting in the hallway for like 20 minutes, just like spam calling this random guy who turned out to be so nice.
Yeah.
And is still so nice.
Yes.
But we were like, please,
Please
don't make
let
us
us in.
sleep in the
Please let us
apartment hallway.
in. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I feel like it was just like us two and a bunch of guys in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
It was like a friend of a friend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we did it.
We did do it and we made it.
And we made it.
Yeah. However, because we were so tired and because we were having troubles getting into the room at first, I fell asleep in my contacts.
Yes.
And I am so like I worked for Lens Crafters for a while. This was before that though. But I was never like a sleep in my contacts kind of person, and I knew how like dangerous it could be, and I never did that. And I fell asleep in my contacts that night.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up, my right eye was like
Yeah, it was
swollen
super swollen.
shut.
But honestly, it was kind of fine because you were the evil one. So it just made you look more evil because you were like doing the squinting
all day
the whole day.
on pirate launch.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it worked out fine.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were probably in pain
I
and
was.
not comfortable.
Well, I like didn't even think to put eye drops in for some reason. I feel like I should have just tried that.
Speaking completely different sidebar. Do you remember that time where we went into someone's hotel room and they like weren't there, and you were
Yes.
like, I really need to put my contacts in solution.
Yes.
Except it wasn't contact solution. It was like the
acid.
acid.
Yeah.
You put it back in your eye and like burned your eyeball.
I sure do remember that actually.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was
Yeah.
at Dragon Con, I think.
We went into our friend's room to wait for them.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were in there, I was like, oh, there's something in my contact. Like, let me
Use their contact
let me
solution.
use this contact solution real quick.
Yeah.
And it was the red cap like cleaner that you're supposed to leave contact lenses in for like 24 hours and then rinse thoroughly. And I put it directly into my eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember
I don't
that.
wear contacts, so I don't really know if that works. But
Yeah, I remember I was like frantically texting Shirley.
yes, I do remember
Our
that.
friend who like
And you're just like
is an
on
eye
the
person.
floor, like
I was like, whoa,
Your
what the
eyeballs
fuck
burning.
is this? Yeah. Yeah. And she was like, don't worry, it'll be fixed in like a day, but like it's gonna be a shitty day. I was like, thanks.
or was it Katsu? It was either Katsu or Dragon. I don't remember.
Yeah. It was one of
There's so many
those.
conventions; they all just blur together.
I know.
After a while.
I know. But being in a like 16-person hotel room with like everyone sleeping on the
It's
floor
the experience.
and
It's con experience.
getting there at 2 a.m. is like the initiation process,
Mhm.
I would say.
And the thing is, too, is we were going to spend another night there, but after the convention, we decided at midnight to go home.
Yes.
We got home at 7 a.m.
Yes.
And I was like, Danielle, if you fall asleep while we're driving, because I need you to keep me awake.
Yeah.
I will murder you.
Well, that was insane of us. And I knew that at the time.
I knew that at the time too, but we were young. We were in our 20s, early 20s.
Yeah.
We still had the energy.
Kind of. I mean, I remember getting home and being like, what the fuck did we do?
Maybe not the energy, but the stupidity is the right word.
Lack of inhibitions.
Yeah. Lack of care.
Right.
We're like, we're young. It's fine.
Nothing will ever happen to us. Yeah.
Who needs sleep?
But I still have the picture of us together as the launches.
I have it too.
And my eyes all fucked up.
So I remember someone was bringing around, was it like a manatee or something? I don't know. It was like some stuffed animal. And they made us take a picture with it. And I always thought that picture was really cute. But you look really unhappy in it.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pose for photos
I didn't either.
And so I look super like scared and awkward, and my one eye's halfway shut and red. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I had no idea how to pose either.
Oh man.
I remember when my friends telling me to clench my jaw to make my jaw look better, and that's like not what you should do at all.
Yeah, like makes your veins pop out in your neck. Yeah.
Like you gotta clench your teeth.
Yeah.
Wrong answer.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of crazy stories, I feel like, from that time. But that was like, it set a ball rolling for me where I was like, okay, now that the Band-Aid's ripped off, You're
just going to do everything.
I can do
and you took off.
A ton of other stuff. Yeah.
You soared.
Android 18, dragging you to the mall, Teemo. Then I started doing a bunch of League of Legends characters.
Legend of League of Legends. Of course. You got to do the League stuff.
Yeah.
Because we did Janna and Caitlyn.
Oh, yeah.
We did so much.
Yeah.
And you did so much. You did so much. You started doing way better than I did. And then I was like, all right, you do you thing.
Well, I have a very unhealthy work-life balance.
Yes.
I've been told that my whole life. So whenever I started doing it, I was like, how can this be
I'm super
not
proud
a hobby?
Of you. You just like ran with it. And I love that.
Thanks. Yeah.
And then we became roommates.
Yes.
For a while.
Right. Well, when I was cosplaying, because I did photography before, so I went to a high school for photography.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I like had to test into it because it wasn't like my zoned high school. So I was doing photography in high school. And then in college, I was taking photography classes just as electives, but had a lot of experience. And so I wanted good photos of my costumes.
Yeah.
And so I ended up messaging David Love in Orlando because I was like, how do I get good pictures of my costumes? I was trying to take them of myself, and that was like pre like flip out LCD era of at least I didn't have one, and it was camera stuff's expensive, and that's how I ended up shooting with David. I messaged him on Facebook.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But yeah, then we graduated and still played a lot of League of Legends.
Yes, I still play. I've been doing ARAMs though.
Same.
I can't deal with normals. Still play a lot of League.
Yeah. And then we moved in together in
2015. Yes, it's 2015. Yeah. Because I moved to LA in 2016.
Right.
So we lived together for a year.
I convinced you to move to West Palm Beach.
Yeah, because I was going to move back home to Connecticut.
Right.
That was the original plan. And you're like, or you can just move in with me. And I was like, that sounds way better.
Yeah.
Way better than Connecticut.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we did a lot of cosplay shit.
We did, didn't we? I learned a lot during that time, I would say. As far as like crafting and like
and I feel like that's when Twitch started kind of like taking off a little bit too. So I know we both, because like when we first did Twitch, it was like barely a thing at that point.
Yeah.
I think it was like, because it was Justin TV first, and I think it was like right after it became Justin TV. So then I think we both started dabbling a little bit in more streaming at that point. Because that's when you started doing like crafting streams.
I remember my first stream being at like a kitchen counter on my laptop playing League of Legends. It was like to 10 people, and I had the laptop webcam, so it was like 360p.
I remember that. I remember that.
Losing at League of Legends.
That's fine.
What was the highest rank you ever got in League?
I think it was Silver 2, maybe.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't hide because didn't you get to Plat?
I did get to Plat.
Yeah, I was not that good.
I did get to Plat, but it was out of pure spite because there were a bunch of people who were like, girls suck at video games.
Yes.
And you can only get higher if you
I remember some people saying that you got carried to Plat, and I was mad at them.
Well, a lot of people said that probably out of like, I don't know, jealousy because they were stuck wherever they were. Yeah. But I would get up. You're either fueled by spite or something completely different, and for some reason I always like, if somebody didn't believe in me, I wanted to prove them wrong so badly.
That's how I felt when I was applying to the game industry.
Right.
Anytime I got a no, I was like, well, screw you.
Watch.
I'm gonna get a better one, and I did.
Right. Yeah.
So
you work for such an amazing company now
that
will remain nameless.
That be anonymous. That's one of the top 3 gaming companies.
Yeah.
That
right,
has just a few video games out.
Just a little bit.
Just a few. Couple. Just a couple. And which is wild. Yeah. Because I just left Florida because I felt like it. On a whim, one day, I was like, Danielle, I'm moving. Yeah. And I picked my stuff up and left.
You did. That is exactly what you did. So we were living together, and you were like, I want to work in the game industry, and everyone was like, it's so hard, you can never do that. Yeah. And
that was out of spite. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it.
We're like, actually, that's crazy because in 3 months I'm gonna move to California.
It took me 2 years after moving to California to get in the gaming industry. And I don't know how I wasn't homeless at the time I left. I had like $4,000 in my savings account when I left, which is not enough to move to LA with.
No, and you just left with your car.
Yeah.
Like you were like, I'm just gonna put whatever fits in my car
Everything
and
else
just
getting
drive.
Trash.
Yeah.
Everything else. And I just drove by myself across country.
Right.
It was a good time.
A spirit that I have always admired about you, because you are fearless when it comes to stuff like that. And I am the opposite. I'm like, I plan too much and then I freak myself out. And you're like, I'm just going to move. I'm just going to drive.
I'm just going to do it. And I did it. And I wouldn't take no for an answer when I got a million no's. And eventually I did it. And I got my foot in the door. And then I moved to a different company. And then I moved to the company I'm at now, which is awesome. And I love it.
Right.
And I love what I do. So
congratulations.
Thanks. I'm very proud of myself.
Earned that.
I'm very proud. I don't really cosplay as much anymore. And I'm trying to get back into streaming a little bit now. But I'm like, I kind of have a cool job. So it kind of makes up for it.
Yeah. Well, that's like what I love that. Like, I remember when everyone was being like, oh, the only way that you'll get higher in League is, and I know it's just League of Legends, but it's like, is if you get carried or something.
Yeah,
and what I started doing was like waking up at 7 a.m. and playing in like the very early morning because less kids were on because they were all like going to school. And I would only play between like the hours of 7 and 12. And I would, as soon as I lost one, I would stop. But that's, I mean, same thing. Like you can apply that anywhere.
Yeah,
like
I just didn't play ranked.
Right.
Because I was too scared to play ranked. But you
fine.
did it, which was awesome. And I remember people talking shit about it too. And I was like, no, she did it.
People be talking shit about anything, you know? Yeah. But you also did it, is my point. Like you were like, 2 years is a long time to like push through.
Because I wouldn't take no for an answer, and I didn't want to like fail, you know?
Right.
I didn't, like all the people who told me I couldn't do it, I was so spiteful and be like, no, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And it was great. It's a good time. Exactly.
Right. Well, I'm very proud of you. I remember you being like, I'm going to California. And I was like, fuck yeah. That's awesome. And I was like, I want to go too one day. And
I
then,
was like, come now.
right.
It only took you 7 more years.
I know. But I made it.
You made it.
And
I'm glad you made it.
I got here.
I'm glad you left Florida.
Me too.
Thank God.
Me too. Sometimes I wish I would have gone with you at that time.
I wish you did. I almost turned around.
Yeah.
I almost turned around because you texted me some stuff and I was like, I'm coming back and grabbing you, but there's no room in my car. So.
You left and my life exploded.
Yes.
Not to say that you were holding it together, Momo, but
I know. I felt bad.
It's okay. It had nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know, but
it was a bad time for me to leave.
It was a bad time, but it was okay.
You should have come with me.
I should have.
You should have just flown and I would have met you there. So you didn't have to drive across country because it was, I had a fun drive because I like driving.
Right.
I like road trips.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great time. I did a lot of fun things. I have some crazy stories from that trip actually.
Yeah.
I went to New Orleans. Crazy time in New Orleans.
What happened in New Orleans?
Nothing. It was fine. It was just like a whole bunch of people. It's New Orleans. I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans. It's kind of, it's like Nashville, but like a trashy Nashville.
I don't know if you can say that on the internet.
I don't know if I can say that either. But it's like Nashville, but like we can cut that out then. It's like Nashville, but
Brian, cut that out.
Different. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going this year because there's a GalaxyCon.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time. Lots of jazz bars.
What is your craziest road trip story from that time, would you say?
Road trip or just traveling in general?
Both.
I don't have any too crazy. I feel like I didn't have too many crazy traveling, like cross-country stories. I think the main thing was I went from Austin to Las Cruces in one day, which is like a 14-hour drive. But I decided to stop or maybe it was like a 10-hour drive, but I decided to stop at Carlsbad Caverns on the way, which was like 3 hours out of the way, which was, and then hiked down Carlsbad Caverns.
Oh my God.
And then came back and kept driving to Las Cruces, which was by myself.
Right.
If I had someone else with me, it would have been fine. But I was exhausted because I didn't realize how much further Las Cruces was from Carlsbad Caverns. And I did my GPS and I was like, ugh. It was like another 5 hours after I'd already driven for 12 hours.
And hiked. Yeah, and like physically exhausted now too.
Yeah. But I feel like that's not that crazy. That's just a lot of driving.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any too wild stories. My wildest story I'm probably not going to say on here. It's not appropriate for camera. Right. But I did have the day in Iceland, which I feel like you've heard about from some of our other friends who came to Iceland with me, which I kind of found out about later because apparently they spent the whole day looking for me.
Right.
And I didn't know that.
I have heard this story from other people.
So I think it's better from like other people's point of views because of how they were apparently looking for me for the entire day because I just wandered off by myself because I had the flu.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find a doctor and they didn't know where I went.
Right. So Momo is what we like to call a free spirit and does things like decide to move across the country, put her stuff in her car and go. You know, just you have the bravery of 1,000 men, I think.
I don't know if it's bravery or just like lack of brain cells.
Like what you're about to say. I started laughing.
It's not really bravery. I don't feel like I'm a brave person. I just am like, if I die, I die.
Don't consider the consequences. Or do and don't care.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. Like, it is what it is.
I consider you a very brave person. So I'll tell you the story from the other people's perspective.
I don't think it's that crazy. Apparently it was.
So we have friends who went with you to Iceland.
Yeah, we like went together, but like we were in separate hostels.
Right.
Yeah.
So you realized that you felt sick and you were like, I need to go find a doctor.
Yeah.
something.
Which is really hard to actually find in Iceland.
Right.
Because their doctor's offices, they have like their normal doctors they go to, but you can't just go to that doctor if you're not already, you have to go to urgent care, which the urgent cares don't open until 5 p.m., which I found out when I was trying to find a doctor.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, because I went to the emergency room first. And they were like, you should probably not go. It's going to be $500, which I was like, that's cheap for an emergency room.
So cheap for an emergency room.
Like, it's going to be $500. You don't have insurance here. Like, you should probably wait until the urgent care is open. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of wandered around until urgent care opened, which was 5 p.m. And then took a taxi across town to urgent care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from our other friend's perspective, they lost you.
Yes.
You were gone.
Yeah.
In a different country.
Yeah.
And they were like, where in the world is Momo?
Yeah, and the last thing they knew was that I wasn't feeling well.
Right. So they searched for you, like walked around, tried calling you. Where was your phone?
At that time, it was hard to get like cell phone service out if you're in a different country. Because like we didn't really have VPNs as much then. Or like international data.
Right.
So if I wasn't in a Wi-Fi area, I couldn't get any calls.
I see. Okay. So then what happened?
I don't know. I don't even remember. I was so sick. I think they eventually found me in my hotel room like dying at like 10 p.m.
So they wandered around all day. And then they were like, let's go check the hostel one more time. And then you were in there in the bed.
Yeah. And they're like, where have you been? But I was really mad because that was a day we were supposed to go to the penis museum. There's a penis museum in Iceland. And we were like, we're going to go to the penis museum. Last day we're there. And I'm so mad because they all went without me.
Damn.
And I didn't get to go because I was sick.
The penis
museum.
Fuck.
And I wanted to go so bad. So I got to go back and go.
We have to go back to Iceland.
I know.
Damn. Okay.
Iceland was crazy. It was a good time.
Yeah.
We met a lot of cool people.
Do you remember what your urgent care bill was?
Yes, I do. They felt really bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we have to charge you. You're not European.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have insurance with the US at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how much? They're like, $100.
$100.
$100.
That's it.
And in the US, it probably would have been way more than that.
Yeah.
But then they did a strep test because they thought I had strep originally.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we got to charge you now for the strep test. And I was like, oh no, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how much? They're like, $5.
$5.
$5.
It's the craziest story.
I know. Imagine not having health insurance and it costing $5.
That they were like,
they felt so bad. They felt so bad charging me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
Could never be us.
I wish.
Crazy.
I do have I have another crazy travel story.
Hit me.
So the first time I went to Tokyo, because I solo traveled to Tokyo the first time.
Again, the bravest person in the world.
And I got stuck in Shanghai because I had a layover in Shanghai. I missed my flight because it was delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wound up getting stuck in Shanghai for 24 hours.
Right.
And they gave us a hotel room for the night, which is super nice. It was a bootleg Disney hotel.
Okay.
And the next day, I don't know if you know, you've been to Hong Kong, but I don't think you've been to mainland China, right?
Not been to mainland China.
So Google's banned. I have a Google phone. So I couldn't use Google Translate. I couldn't use my Gmail. I think I eventually managed to text you. Yeah, because I was like, I'm stuck in China. No one really knows I'm stuck in China.
Yeah.
And I was like, just want to let you know, I'm in China.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next morning, I'm trying to figure out how I'm getting back to the airport. I have no idea. And I'm trying to ask the front desk, but they don't know any English. I don't know any Chinese. I was not prepared to be stuck in China.
Right.
So I didn't prepare myself with
a phone that is basically a brick.
Yeah, a phone that's basically a brick. And luckily this lady that was in the lobby was like, hey, I'll help translate for you because I know English. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you. And I think I got separated from the other people from my flight because everyone there were not from my flight. There's other people because there was like 2 buses and I think I went on the wrong bus. But there's like one other guy who was from Peru, I believe, who was also like waiting, like, how are we getting back to the airport? Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, car's gonna be here at 1 p.m. Like, perfect. And this car pulls up, but is, you know, that like stereotypical, like, do not get into van that you're told as a child, like that white van that like sells candy.
Yeah.
That was the car. That was the car that they're like, this is your car taking you back to the airport. And we're just like, me and this other guy are looking at each other like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. And we're just like, and it was super sketchy because like it didn't really have real seats in the back or anything. Like it looked like a utility van.
Right.
So we got in and they turned the opposite direction that we came from the day before. And me and the guy looking were like, didn't we come from like the right? I was like, I thought I was going crazy. And he's like, no, we definitely came from the other direction last night. And I was like, so both me and him were like freaking out in the backseat. We're like, we're about to get kidnapped. Like you're like the only person who knows I'm stuck in China.
Yeah. And I remember being like, what do I do?
Yeah. I'm like, I can't get a hold of anyone else. Like I'm supposed to be at work, you know? No one knows I'm here.
Yeah.
And me and this guy were like, we're going to get kidnapped. Like we're going the opposite direction. Luckily, that didn't happen, obviously. We wound up, I guess it was just a different direction to go back to the airport. But there was a solid like 30 minutes where me and this guy from Peru were freaking out, thinking we're going to get murdered.
You and me.
Like,
till the end.
I'm like, oh, I guess. I wish I like got his Instagram. He was really cool, but
oh my God,
I've never seen him ever
crazy.
Again.
It all worked out.
It all worked out.
Uh-huh.
I'm back here. I'm alive. But for a few minutes, thought I was getting murdered.
Right.
Well, and no one knew I was in
I'm
China.
very glad that you didn't get murdered. Oh my God. I have so many like things written down. First of all, it's the first time I'm using these fancy note cards.
I love
very
them.
Excited.
They're very beautiful.
Thank you. I wrote a couple of things down about our just like funny memories.
Okay.
I want to tell you my favorite memory that I remember. And then I want you to tell me yours.
Oh God. I didn't think of this beforehand. You should have warned me.
I should have, and I didn't.
All right.
It might have been by design. My favorite memory of us is this. Damn, ghost, chill.
It's the ghost from
They're like, don't.
the Alligator Alley ghost.
Yeah. She's like they saw me.
They knew.
So I spent a ton of time at your apartment when we were in college. And one time, and I was like a slow burn nerd, I would say, where I played a ton of video games and I was like a weird gamer kid growing up, but I didn't know a lot about like Star Wars. Like we watched Star Wars together for the first time. And like comic books and stuff like that. And I was at your house and there were a couple other people there and they were like, we're going to play a game called Slender Man.
Slender Man.
I was like, what's that? Sounds fun. They're like, oh, it's a scary game and I'm not good with horror. And I'm better now, but I was very not good with horror at the time. And they were like, yeah, we're going to play Slender Man. It's this really fun game where you just have to collect a bunch of note cards. Teehee.
I know where this is going too.
Yeah, I know. And they were like, they set the computer up on the TV in the living room. There was a wireless mouse and keyboard on like a fold out ping pong, like beer pong table. I think it was with
sounds about right.
Wireless mouse and keyboard on the couch, and you guys were like, you can play first. It's gonna be so much fun. You love video games, but we're gonna turn out the lights because you need the full gaming experience. And I was like, yeah, I do, don't I? I love that. So I started playing Slender Man. This is the first time I ever played Slender Man, obviously.
It's a great game.
And all the lights were out, and I didn't know that I was going to be chased by a
Slender Man?
1,000,000-foot tall, terrifying creature without a head, without a face in the forest. And I think this was the like original game.
It's the original
one,
like
the very first one. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I was running through the house with reckless abandon that you start with in the beginning, and I got a couple of notes and I was really excited, and I started hearing the heartbeat, and I turned around and suddenly there was a terrifying creature of a man that I didn't know was going to pop out at me, and I threw all of your peripherals, the mouse, the keyboard, flying through the living room, terrified, and I don't think I played again. I think I was like, oh my God. I think maybe at the end I did.
Let's play again. We should do it.
It's actually probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
But a terrifying moment for me. That's a canon event in my life, I would say. But the second part of this story, which I feel like is equally as funny, is that after you scarred me, I was helping you paint your bedroom black.
Yes.
This was like many months, or maybe...
It was a few months after.
It was like...
because we played it at one of my apartments, and then I moved to a different apartment. So it was the new apartment.
Yes. Okay. So you're moving and you wanted to paint your bedroom black. And I was like,
which was a mistake.
There to help you. Yeah, honestly. Don't ever paint your bedroom black.
Especially when it's an apartment.
Yeah.
When you don't want it. Bad idea.
Right. But again, reckless abandon at this time. I was helping you paint your bedroom black, and I thought it would be the funniest prank of all time to get you guys back and draw one of those Slender Man notes.
It was 2 of the Slender Man notes
on your bedroom walls in the black
paint. The one that said no, 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 and then you put the handprints on. Yeah.
And prank you guys. And prank you when you walked into your bedroom. You weren't going to know that.
It was a pretty good prank.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So I was like, this is perfect. I'm going to get you back. So I took the black paint and on the wall with your bed on it, put no down each side of your bed, and then put the like Slenderman stick figure in between it. And then I literally doused my hand in paint and was like rubbing my hand down the wall, like recreating these Slenderman notes on your wall. I was like, this is so funny because we're just going to paint over it. You walked in, saw them, thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
A great prank.
Prank
went off without a hitch.
Loved it.
I would say. But what we didn't realize was that when we painted over them in the black, you could still see it. Like if the light shined in any particular way, you could see it, and it literally never went away. We put like many coats on top of them.
Yes. You could still see it.
So I apologize for that.
No, it was honestly great.
Because
I loved it.
Slenderman notes were stained into those walls forever.
I hope the person who moved in after could still see it too.
Like, what the fuck?
I hope they could.
No.
Like after they did the white over it, just have the black on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
How about you?
That was also one of my favorite movies.
Okay, we can share it if you want to.
That was like my favorite one too. I'm trying to think if there's anything more recent than that.
Yeah. I remember every time I walked into your bedroom after that, I was like, fuck.
I thought it was really funny.
You can still see it.
I feel like I have a good one, but I can't like think of it off the top of my head.
Okay. That's fine. We can reconvene on Patreon.
I'll think of it and get back to you.
Okay.
But there's a lot of good ones.
Momo, as I knew it would, the time like pretty much flew by. And we already hit an hour. We're actually well over an hour.
We?
The light turned on a long time ago and I just kept going.
Okay.
But thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. It was very, very fun.
It was fun. Reminiscing our definitely only a few years together.
Right.
And not over a decade.
Right.
Yeah.
We are young.
We are.
We are young and spry. This was not a long, long time ago in college.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking about yourself and also regaling many a tale of us
I'm
together.
so proud of you, by the way. You've done so good.
Don't make me cry.
And every time I see any of your cosplays pop up, I'm always like try and get you some
Thank you.
more. I'm always like my friend. Or like sometimes Evan will see me like scrolling and he's like, are you just staring at Danielle? And I was like, no, not at all.
That's nice. Do you ever look at those posts and you're like, I did that?
Yes.
Good.
Sometimes. Do you know what's funny though? Facebook memory popped up the other day for me.
Oh no, not a Facebook memory.
And it was who's George Lucas? And then I quoted Danielle DeNicola.
That sounds fake, actually. AI.
I thought it was funny.
That is
Who's George
funny.
Lucas? Danielle DeNicola.
Yeah, that's how much I didn't know.
You didn't know Star
about
Wars.
stuff. Like
It's okay. Star Wars is kind of, as my words, kind of cheesy. Star Wars is kind of cheesy.
I mean, yeah, it was made a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly about the nostalgia for a lot of people.
Yeah, kind of like some other shows too.
Yeah, you got some hot takes, Momo? Save it for the Patreon. Well, Momo, for your Twitch stream that you are restarting, why don't you plug your socials and your Twitch?
My socials are
URL.
all Momo Pears. That's MOMOPEARS, like the fruit. Trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
I need to get back into cosplay too.
Well, now that you have a fucking awesome job.
I do have an awesome job.
And
I ban people for a living.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I'm excited that you brought that up because that is something that I wanted to ask you about as well. But that's twitch.tv/MomoPairs. And what are you going to be streaming?
I have no idea. That's a great question. I like playing games with people. That's my problem with streaming is I don't like just solo streaming. I like playing games. So I've been doing Split Fiction.
Nice.
And Repo, which we should play Repo.
I love Repo.
It's so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
I like the duck.
The duck I do also love. I can't not touch it.
I know.
Every time.
Same.
Okay. Well, thank you again.
Yeah,
for coming and hanging out.
How do we do heart season? It's not. That's the easier way.
It's this now. This is the heart now. It's the 2 finger hooks. Yeah.
Got it.
No more millennial.
No, not a millennial
heart.
Super young.
So now that it is Patreon time, why don't you lead us off with your hot takes? I want to know your hot takes.
Okay.
And I want to know what is the craziest thing, like what are a couple of like wild emails that you've gotten at your job that you've had to ban people for?
Well, so right now